Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. In this world, what we find ourselves living in, things are quickly going from bad to worse. And again, I have another police shooting story. And the reason why we continue to keep highlighting these police shooting stories because it's obvious that whenever there's something going on with the citizens of America, the first thing the news media does is get out there and demonize them. And of course, you need to realize and understand that everything that you read in a newspaper is not always reality. People with pen and paper can be very deadly. You can write a lie and you can exude truth just like you can tell a lie. And so the news media, their job is not to get you truth. Their job is to sell newspapers if they're in the paper industry. If they're on TV, is to continue to keep presenting information in certain ways to get you to continue to keep looking at them so that their advertisers can actually get your Federal Reserve notes because the advertisers is paying the TV stations. Well, here in looks like Delaware, I guess what it was. Here's a man, and the story reads that apparently that there's this paraplegic. That's a guy that's sitting in a wheelchair. Okay, he has a gun, and apparently he has, I think maybe has allegedly has shot himself. And he still has the gun. So too often, more than not, how do the people respond? Well, the people respond by calling the police. And of course, the police is crazy the way that they think, their rationale. You call the police have the doctrine, especially if there is a gun involved. You people listen to me. If they see a gun, the first thing they're going to do is pull a gun out. And then they may give you the respect by telling you something once or twice. After that, they shooting. Because their doctrine is shoot to stop, which literally means shoot to kill. They may say stop, but it's kill. And that's how they stop you. And it's obvious because this excessive abuse of force is just simply unwarranted. I looked at this whole situation, and the problem that the police force is having today is they're full of fear, and they're lacking greatly in training. And of course, then people will turn around and say, "Well, who you think you are?" So again, I am a 10-year United States Army veteran paratrooper. I have been pretty much all over this world. Not the whole world, but I've been in a lot of places. And so I'm speaking for someone who has a lot of trigger time, and training is what helps you to learn how to respond in certain areas. But if you cannot disarm a 28 or 29 paraplegic in a wheelchair, and everybody comes out with guns blazing. I mean, you ought to see them. Put it down. Put your hands up. But they shoot him. Then they tell him to put his hands up. What if that first bullet that they shot him with prevented him from putting his hands up, and he's sitting there bleeding out? And then the fear gets up, and then another cop gets to hollering and screaming, "Put your hands up! Put your..." Next thing you know, it's a sad situation. I'm gonna go ahead and roll it, but they just literally unload on the man. So you think about this. Let's look at this thing. Some concerned people in the environment or the community or compounds, they call the police to actually neutralize the situation. And of course, too often times more than not, you call the police, somebody's going to end up dead. And the police is always going to be acquitted. Police not guilty, because you have to understand, the police officers work for the crown. They work for the king. And an assault on the officers is an assault on the crown or the king itself or the government. And they will always be acquitted. What is it? Maybe 1% of the time so-called justice happens. What is justice anyway? But anyway, it's a sad situation. I don't think that you should have your children to watch this man die in a wheelchair. The fear level is just utterly amazing. But you need to know this. if you ever go anywhere and you get pulled over, stopped by a cop, that may be your last day on earth. And if they see you have a gun, whether you are a licensed carrier, concealed weapons carrier, or you have license to carry or not, they see a gun, them boogers are going to behave off the chain. In that case, you better be trained up. You had better be seriously trained up. Because when it's all said and done, you take that uniform off them, they're a human being just like you. And they're always going to tout fear for their life, and they're going to skew the truth. They're not going to give you all the facts. And how many times have we seen it over and over again that they lie with immunity? But I think this is nothing but fear. They're just full of fear, and they're scared to death to turn around and have to have 4 or 5 of them out there, and they just start unloading on this man in the wheelchair. Now, did the man have a gun? Sure he did. Again, after looking at this, I'm asking you. You already heard one shot, and we don't know where that shot went, but I'm asking you right now. Let's just say that shot hit that man. Do you know that man probably could have not raised his hands if he's already been shot in a wheelchair? How the hell are you going to raise your hands if you've been shot? That's why I'm putting that in there. But it's bad, and it's getting worse. And whatever they're teaching these police officers, whatever doctrine throughout this land, it seems to be the scope throughout this land from one end of the land to the next. They all have the same doctrine. I would suggest, even if you the people yourself, if there's something you can neutralize and take care of yourself, I wouldn't advise calling the police, because some innocent person may die. I want you to check this out and listen to this. That's just my advice, my opinion. Hey, I'm entitled to it. Everybody else is.
He's over here! Give me your hand! Show me your hand!
Oh, shit.
Show me your hand! Show me your hand! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Grab it.
Shove with a bullet pop.
Come this way.
Who's behind you, Judge? Hands up! Hands up! Put your hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Put your hands up!
Put your hands up, cuz. They shot his ass.
Hands!
He's reaching to get. Oh, he bleeding. He's bleeding.
Grab his hand. What the fuck?
They shot him with a pellet gun. You know, his thumb's on the knockout. Man, put your hand.
Fine.
That was